Welcome back, people, to another sensational podcast, which you know, MYB. In today's session, guys, by looking at the title, by looking at the header, we guys know what we're talking about. We're coming with what? Real estate. Today's session, we're going to talk about, but before we get into what we're going to talk about, people, be appreciative that you guys had a workout today. Be appreciative that you guys woke up today. Be appreciative that you guys woke up next to someone today. Be appreciative that you guys have had a roof over your head. Be appreciative that you guys had a meal to eat. Be appreciative, guys, for the small things that you guys take for granted. But in reality, a lot of people do not have the criteria that what you have, right? You at least have the privilege of sight. You have the privilege of all your senses. You have the privilege to have a roof over your head, like I said 20 seconds ago. So don't take nothing for granted, people, because you only here for a temporary period of time. So while you're here, be appreciative, give thankful, and kill yourself with gratitude. So with all that gratitude in the air, people, we're going to get straight to it. We're going to talk about real estate in 2026, the type of real estate, and which real estate is the best real estate to get into, and how do you pretty much calculate your returns on a real estate building before you even start building the building. So first what we can talk about, people, 2026 is here, right? But yet, you guys not talking about real estate, or not just talking about real estate, but getting involved into real estate, right? Because if you look about it, right, real estate is damn near the ultimate jackpot into this game we like to call financial freedom, right? We have real estate, and then we have something called the private equity, right? A lot of you guys can't get into private equity right now, but a lot of you guys could still get into real estate, right? The reason why I like real estate personally, right? Let me slow down for y'all. Because if you really think about it, right, everyone always complaining about interest rate is so high, inflation is high, wages is down, right? But in reality, this new high is the new low, right? This is what I gotta say, people. This new high in the real estate market is the new low. Because if you think about it, right, when you guys look at these houses, for example, perfect example, $20,000 home in maybe 1940 costs $1 million now. So you don't think if that same home that cost $20,000 back then and it costs $1 million now, so imagine if that shit costs $1 million now in 2026, you don't think by 2040 that same home that cost $20,000 back then, $1 million now, might not cost $30 million just to live in the same house? Nothing changed. Think about it, people. So why not start the real estate, right? And before you guys jump into real estate now, right, a lot of you guys ask me, like, how do you start in real estate? Because I started into real estate, but I started with no help, right? So the perfect way to start into real estate is not to get a multiplex, rent out the half, and let someone else live in the other half. Yes, we all know that, right? But that's not really what it comes down to, right? The first strategy in real estate, right, if you don't have no cash flow and you don't want to ask your family for money, because we know how that situation goes, right? You never get into a business with your family, because when it comes to money is a valuable research in family life, right? It messes up a relationship. So all you need to do is something called wholesaling, right? Wholesaling is like the bank, right? You're the middle person, right? You pretty much walk through your neighborhood as you guys walk in the afternoon with no phones, walk in the neighborhood, take you like a pen and just write down that you guys see houses for sale, or knock on their doors and just go to door knocking and talking to them, ask them if they want to sell their house, right? So after you get someone who willing to sell their house, you have to find someone who willing to buy that house, right? So it's like supply and demand, right? You think about it, right? So when it comes down to that, now you connect these two persons together. You hear that train in the background? That's positive cash flow right there. That trade is just paying me dividends. Warren Buffett on that train on Robinhood. You guys should look up some stocks on Robinhood. But I'm going to talk about stocks in the stocks podcast. But anyway, back to real estate, right? What you pretty much have to do, like I said, let's say you do walk through your neighborhood, right, and you find a house at worth, let's say $120,000, right? So you go into your buyer now. You go into your buyer and you contact your broker, not the broker, but the people, the sellers to the buyers. And he happened to pay, let's say he get it for $112. he buy for 112, and he can give you maybe 5% of that or 2% of that. Let's say he give you 10%. Let's say bro end up giving you $10,000 and tell you because you did such a good job, he give you $10,000, right? Now you have $10,000 that you didn't have before, right? But this $10,000, it didn't come easy, right? It may take you 2 months, 6 months, or whatever just to actually find a seller, and you have to find a buyer. It worked with a seller and buyer. That's why it's called wholesaling. You don't touch the property, you don't own the property, you just damn near using the people and connecting. You just networking, right? So after you get that bread, now let's say you get $10,000. Now you cross over into your credit card. So when it comes to credit card and credit, let's talk about credit first, right? A lot of you guys be so caught up into getting a loan and don't even understand how drastically 1% or 2% off of them numbers on your credit score could drastically hit you. Let's say you have a 526, right? But if you wait to probably 2 more months and you pay off 2 more payments, and that 526 is going to like 580 something, right? At least that move right there, because you waited 2 months and you understand how good your credit was before you get a loan, you get the same loan at a cheaper price than if you would go earlier. You would get it at an expensive price, right? So it all depends on good your credit, right? So even now you have good credit, right? Another mistake you guys make: don't be so caught up, even though you have good credit, don't be so caught up into them giving you, let's say you wanted maybe 100,000, but they're saying because your credit's so good, we're gonna give you 300,000, right? So now you're excited, you're happy because you didn't even want 300,000, but God blessed you with 300,000, right? So instead of taking this $300,000 and put it into one big house in a good location or bad location, it's up to you, right? So let's say hypothetically now you actually get this bread, and why would you put it into one house, right? Why would you put it into one large house? Because the game of real estate, your first house is not the icing, right? The first house is just one ingredient into building the cake. Is one egg. That's just one house. Your second house is going to be 2 eggs. Your third house is going to be some vanilla. Your fourth house is going to be some the oil. The fifth house is going to you beat it up. The seventh house is going to you turn on the oven to 360. The eighth house is you baking it. The ninth house is you leaving it overnight. The 10th house is you putting ice on the cake. You know what I'm saying? So now you have 10 houses before you get all of this cash flow flooding in, right? So don't be so caught up in taking, because you have good credit and shit, and because they give you all this money, you have to use this money for one houses, right? So and then the thing about real estate, and then also is another one called fix and flip. I used to watch these shows, and I believe that's how I get into real estate. Not get into real estate, but I used to watch it growing up. So now looking back in those days, because I used to watch it with my parents and shit. I believe it was a show called Brothers, and then it was the next one of pretty much they just buying houses, fixing up, and flipping it, right? But what I noticed in a lot of those shows back then, I don't know if they used to do it, but they never used to show it on TV. Like there's something called APV, the after repair value. Like it's to allow you to estimate how much you buying this house for. Well, how much the house is, first of all, 20,000. How much you're willing to pay for it, maybe 17,000. How much you're gonna put into it, maybe 50,000. Maybe a next 10 to 15,000 of emergency. How much are you willing to sell it on the highest? How much are you willing to sell it on the lowest? If you do decide to rent it or sell it or lease to own it or just keep it there for the equity in the longevity of time, it gives you a number when you do all the numbers in return, right? So when you get that particular number, it lets you know, is this house worth me building it? Is me worth putting my time and effort into it? Basically, how I'm saying, people. So that's why what real estate do. You don't have to be so mathematically smart with it, but at least you would know some numbers, right? So that's the damn near wholesaling, right? And the fun part for me is real estate. A lot of real estate is we got, like, let's think about it too, right? We have residential real estate, and we have commercial real estate, right? Commercial real estate got affected in the COVID because that allowed people to not go to the office and work at home. So the real estate market and the real estate was smooth, right? Because if you think about it, right, the thing about commercial and residential is going to always be there because why? People always need a place to stay, right? People always need a place to stay. But also now, the way the economy going, people is going to get to the point where they're gonna have to be homeless, right? Either homeless, or they will build a home but from not a home. Like they will build a home from a container or something just to live in, because how high the inflation rise is going, how high the houses market is, but the wages is not going up, and you guys don't have no job, right? So that's pretty much the key one right there. The AI replaced you guys from having a job. So let's say now you're in the real estate game, and you have like damn near 6 units, 6 units, six not 6 units, yeah, 6 units if you're in units business, or you have 3 single family homes. That's my preference. My preference is I actually have like 4 in Alva right now, 4 single family homes, because it's 2 bedroom or 3 bedroom, too bad, and it's easy and it's close to the college, because I know college kids is gonna always be there. So, and I lease to own them. Either you could lease to own them to the college kid, but in reality, they wouldn't really pay it off, which is good, right? So it's like if they don't understand it, you can really not finesse them, but just outsmart them. But if they don't know it, is you really outsmarting them? If someone's stupid and you smart, did you just outsmart? No, he just didn't have the information. He didn't have the wisdom and knowledge. So that's why it's really good to get into a partner with someone who do real estate, like a mentorship, because it allow you to understand, especially when it comes to buying a home. Like anything that you want to buy something, it's always good to have someone next to you, especially if it's your first time doing it. For example, when you guys buy your first stocks or whatever, if someone was right next to you who know more about it. So same with real estate. Because at the end of the day, it's all about, that's the thing about negotiation. Negotiation is there. They always say both parties have to win. Both parties have to win, yes, in an essence, but in reality is who can get more from each other. You see what I'm saying, people? I want more because my ego and pride and how I value the world, and I have to pay rent, I have to do that, I have to do that. So I want more from you. And your job is what? I want to pay less because you want a return on this house too. Because why would you buy a house from someone and you can't get a return from it, right? But it also, you guys could have buy the land and then you can buy the house. That's one thing that separate. Let me ask you guys a question. What separate land? What's the difference from land and real estate? Land and a home. What's the difference? Leave that shit in the comment if you guys know what that is. Because if you think about it, right, why not be disciplined? Why not be motivating, right? Because in reality, you're retarded, right? In reality, you're stupid. But at least be stupid by taking action, right? Because when you die, that's all you got, right? So why not be the best version you could be? Apply yourself in the real estate market and let the shit appreciate. That's the difference. Because if you think about it, people, and then what else in real estate, people? Because we cover the wholesale, we got fixer upper, like I said. And my preference in real estate is lease to own, right? Lease to own is allow you, for example, I like to give you a perfect example. Also, before I get into that example, right? Why the renters, like if you guys are renting now, is getting killed in 2026, 2027, as long as you're renting, like especially if you're not renting to lease to own, you're just renting the apartment and letting the money flush down the toilet every month, than putting into the lease to own, that you at least own it in the longevity of time, then you can do the same shit. But if, like I said, if you're just renting, this is what's gonna happen. How inflation goes up, the tenants, which is me, which I mean the tenants, you could damn near tell the tenants, hey, I have to raise your rent because inflation went up. Matter of fact, I may not even have to give you no reason. I can just raise the rent. So that same apartment you was paying $800 for or $600 for, now you have to pay $1,000 for. Remember when I tell you guys in maybe 10 minutes ago at least, that house that cost $12,000 back, and then it costs $1 million now, and then from 2040 it's gonna cost 12 million or 10 million. Is the same house, same with inflation. So just because inflation rises, I have to call my tenants and be like, bro, I'm sorry. I'm not even sorry. I'm happy. I'm happy, but I probably gotta brush it off to you. I tell you, hey, bro, you gotta pay $200 more to live in the same house. Then you gotta go to the store and buy the same food for damn near 2 more cents on the dollar or 10 cents on the dollar. So that's why I say, so now you can't pay all of this, right? Your job fire you, right? That's why I say in the real estate also, this is going to affect the real estate market, because if you think about it, right, a lot of you guys getting fired. Like it's sad, but it's happening, right? A lot of you guys getting fired out here in the economy because AI is wiping out all of your guys' profession, job, which is supposed to do. Because if you think about it, the world need to evolve. The world need to expand. I mean, I'm tired chatting. I'm not tired chatting, but I gotta get back to my workout. I also gotta get back and do my 3 laps on the track. Then I'll pretty much take a warm shower, get something to eat, and then do it again tomorrow. But it all comes to an end February 18th, though, people. So be appreciative that you guys heard my voice today. But before I leave, though, people, mind the business.